Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Data Dispatch. Hope you guys have all had a wonderful day. We're going to be giving you guys the most up-to-date news on what's been happening in the market. One of the big things is a hotter than expected inflation report that Wall Street does not like. We see the broader markets close slightly in the red, and that's because the hope for continuing of cutting those interest rates is starting to dwindle. However, we're going to be talking about some of the big AI stocks. Palantir actually goes against the market, up over 4% today. We're going to be talking about the AMA session that Alex Karp, CEO of Palantir, came out with, and also mentioning some of the other stocks that we're talking about, like BigBear and Tempest. Now, we've hit 23,000 subscribers. Let's see if we can hit 24. Thank you guys so much for helping out. Grow the channel, hit that like button, and of course, not a financial advisor, collecting all the data and dispatching it to you. Now, if we pop it up on the screen here, Palantir Technologies currently closed at 117.39. Palantir has been doing incredibly well, holding these record highs after the quarter four earnings. We're actually going to be breaking down a Morningstar article that was released about Palantir. Volume at about 75 million, market cap at 267 billion. It's crazy to see Palantir holding at these levels at 117.39. Some of the things that we've specifically seen in the news and where Palantir sits in the overnight hours right now, down about 22 cents, basically holding stable. And this is great that Palantir has been holding stable given what's been happening in the broader market regarding the inflation report. Now, here is the Palantir CEO, Alex Karp, the live stream. Starts here at 36 minutes. It's about 40 to 50 minutes long. I encourage you guys to go watch it. This is really cool that a CEO is coming out to address in a show like this, just answering questions from the community. A lot of CEOs don't do that. They don't take the time to do that. So I highly respect Alex Karp for doing that. In this AMA, he's really talking about the philosophy of the company. And the whole point of it was to really acknowledge the individual investors, the retail traders, and appreciating them. And I can respect that in every way, shape, or form. So I encourage you guys to go watch it. Things that are happening in the news for about Palantir, though. Two members of Congress actually have just disclosed Palantir purchases of the stock this morning. Both of these Congress members made these trades both in late January. Stock has been up over 50% since then. This is kind of the first time that we've seen politicians buy Palantir stock before. So this will probably be beginning to be on the radar for what other politicians, Congress, people, anybody involved in the government that's going to be adding Palantir to their portfolios. Great to see here. We'll be keeping our eyes out for those public disclosure forms and those 13F filings, things like that. One big thing we know, Nancy Pelosi, look at Tempest AI, the momentum that we've seen with just her purchasing one AI stock such as Tempest. So what you can see here, politicians wanted to get a piece of the pie. Now, looking into Morningstar, they come out here with an article regarding their fair value estimate on Palantir. And I was actually more surprised, and it was higher than I was expected. Article kind of talks about quarter four earnings. We know the reaction to that was incredibly well. We've seen amazing growth both on the U.S. commercial side and on the governmental side. Lots of contracts continuing to be established. Now, looking at the fair value estimate, they give it a 3-star rating, and saying Palantir stock is actually fairly valued compared with their long-term fair value estimate of $90 per share. I thought that was actually high for Morningstar. Morningstar usually shoots on the lower end here. So the fact that they're coming out with a $90 per share fair value estimate, Palantir is sitting at these astronomical record highs at 117, I think is pretty bullish from Morningstar's behalf. They imply here with that $90, a 2025 enterprise value to sales multiple of 52 times. And they say here in their opinion that the primary driver is the total addressable market. And I couldn't agree anymore. Palantir's AIP and basically its expansion into the commercial sector is kind of unlimited regarding the potential for their opportunity. Palantir and AI can work to improve efficiency, reduce waste, improve productivity, bring more safety metrics, and can overall produce higher numbers for basically any type of niche or company that's out there. So the total addressable market, and everybody wants to get a piece of the AI game right now. And Palantir is leading that game. Truly, the market cap, the potential market cap for market share going into Palantir, I think right now is limitless with the current wave and momentum that we were seeing in the markets. So great to see Morningstar addressing that. And they warrant here a narrow moat rating, kind of based on switching, talking about here their intangible assets, differentiating, AI company. But one big thing that Morningstar that I also agree with here is talking about their financial strength. Is that Palantir, if we do see any type of large pullback, if we see any big changes in the market in general, any type of bearish switches, potentials, momentums, Palantir is sitting on a ton of cash. And that's why I've always really liked the actual fundamentals and business metrics of Palantir is that they have nearly $2 billion in cash and $3.1 billion in marketable securities. These are mostly U.S. Treasury securities and no debt. So waiting for that rainy storm to come, Palantir has a very, very large umbrella to stay dry. Talking about risk and uncertainty. This is where they talk about they assign Palantir a very high uncertainty rating. Basically, that's just because there's a lot of volatility behind Palantir right now. The versatility of their Palantir software. Of course, you have the valuation concerns. That's not going anywhere. You can see, look at some of these articles. There's always going to be these bearish articles talking about the valuation, reckoning could come. Yes, the risk for downside potential is high. That is with any type of big tech AI stock that is currently trading at these record highs. The risk for downside potential is high because it's sitting at record highs. But however, looking at people that have been waiting for a pullback since 20, look at where Palantir is now. Since 30, since 40, since 50, Palantir has continued to outpace the doubters and the bears out there just from these investors that have been holding. So awesome to see. Looking at the actual market, let's talk about inflation here. We see the S&P 500 come down a little bit. If we look at the broader indexes here, you can see Dow Jones down about 0.5%, S&P 500 down about 0.3%. Now, going back to that, this is most likely due to the hotter than expected CPI data that confirms the anxiety that Wall Street has basically with this too high inflation report. The CPI data, the consumer price index here, jumped 0.5% for the month, putting right now the annual inflation rate at 3%. Both were more than respective. The actual estimates were at 0.3% rather than 0.5% than what was actually happening in reality, and 2.9% versus that 3%. We also see the 10-year Treasury yield, which we know is a big gauge and barometer for mortgages, auto loans, credit cards, all different types of ways that you can have the loans and debt accumulation. They jumped here to a session high of 4.66%. How will the market react to this? I think we could possibly see a little bit of a red day, but what we've been seeing in the market, even with these red days, the dips are automatically rebought. And we've been seeing a lot of momentum and even more of the speculative type of AI stocks that have a much smaller market cap than Palantir. That leads me to the next segment right here. BigBear AI. We've been talking about BigBear ever since it was at like the $3, $4 range, has been on an absolute tear, up 21% today, right now at $9.74 and at a market cap of only 2.45 billion. Now, BigBear has really been skyrocketing is because we do have the vice president here that came out today to talk about its U.S. commitment on AI. He delivered a speech talking to leaders across the world and across Europe, in which he promised that U.S. would dominate AI, declaring that basically the Trump administration will ensure the most powerful AI systems that are built in the U.S. with American design and manufactured chips, focusing on AI opportunities rather than AI safety. I think we should probably focus on both at the same time. We don't want the robots to take over the world. But this is very bullish for these newer, kind of US-based smaller AI companies, especially with BigBear AI. They're based in Bethesda, Maryland. So any of these programs that can benefit these American AI companies, a lot of these AI stocks that are based in America are going to benefit. So a lot of bullish news right now. And even with the change in the leadership of BigBear, that's why I think we're seeing a lot of momentum personally. One big thing, we're seeing Tempest right here that's also been on an absolute roar since Nancy Pelosi basically added it to her portfolio, up to 73.88 right now. We are seeing some of the analysts here that are actually changing their stock to a downgrade. You get a downgrade here by William Bear, just talking about changing their status to a market perform from outperform. Basically, he's talking about this rally and concerns over the company's fundamentals and where the price is sitting at right now. So a lot of these AI stocks are trading at high valuations. I don't personally see any signs of slowing down. And as we see, even the lower kind of tier of price targets and the higher tier, it's a whole stepping stone. The whole interval is being brought up. Look what Palantir has done since 2023. A lot of these other AI stocks looks like they're continuing to start that race. Peace out. Take care. And I'll catch you guys later. Have a great day.